Welcome to the Hear Me Out podcast. This is your host, Ayo, fellow host, Young 𝗲𝗍.
West.
How you feeling?
Good.
Jonte, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Bet. We are one short today.
Yeah.
He's out in the snow.
Yeah. For good reason.
Very good reason. Snow, though, not for me.
Same.
So today, guys, we are going to be pretty much talking about consistency,
Persistence and consistency.
goal consistency.
Okay, we're going to make up a word.
Yes, goal consistency. I like it. So yeah, happy Valentine's Day to all you lovers out there. Happy Valentine's Day, yo. I'm not really celebrating it. I don't like being told when to spend my money, personally. I know Jonte does not like Valentine's Day either, which is why he's quiet.
You don't know that.
I'm not a big fan. I feel the same way as you, though,
See?
about the spending money part.
See? Told you. 𝗲𝗍 crosses her legs. All right. Honestly, we haven't really talked about the inner workings of our podcast at all.
Yeah.
And for our listeners, please know it's never a dull moment here on the Hear Me Out podcast.
Yeah.
How have things been going last couple weeks?
It's funny. Before we had different types of problems, like we were all getting along, but things outside of our control were fucking up. And then the past couple weeks, I was the problem.
Why were you the problem, Shiraz?
Don't do
Not
that.
to call you out or single you out,
but
but
to call you out in this.
you said you were the problem, so you can talk about why.
Because my passion can very easily be misconstrued.
or misportrayed.
Yeah. So.
But hey, we are here every week for you guys.
Yeah.
We've had some interesting challenges, honestly. Just maintaining consistency within ourselves, quality, timing, scheduling, all those things. A lot of things come into making this podcast work, man. It's a lot. And we appreciate all you guys. Like and subscribe. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, listenership.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
yeah, it's much tougher than it looks on the outside. Like, a few people know what's been popping behind the scenes, and they would never know. And they said they had no idea. But
nobody can tell.
Shit was really bad.
We professionals.
The past couple weeks.
We professionals. That's all that is. So, as far as because today we were talking about consistency and persistence and our goals and everything, and in all of the aspects of the words, because it's definitely applicable in different situations and different just avenues of our life. Yeah. So as far as consistency in our podcast, what do you think? How do you think we've been able to maintain it despite the many challenges that there are?
Because I think the same amount of crazy or the same amount of passion I put into this podcast that may frustrate members of the podcast at moments is the same thing that will keep us together. Because, I don't let men break up with me, so you can't just quit the podcast.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's an interesting way to look at it. Jonte, what do you think it is? What do you think we do as far as our consistency to keep this going?
I think it's willpower. We all have a certain amount of desire to want to be here and want to give good content.
Mm-hmm.
To want to show up every week and on the off days too. So,
I think collectively we all know what Hear Me Out podcast is capable of.
Yeah, 100%. This is a life-changing opportunity, honestly. I never really would have thought I'd be on a podcast, but this shit is dope. I've said it before, it's a great space to where, somebody you can vent and just release things and have interesting and funny conversations with people that you respect, you fuck with.
The past couple weeks I felt guilty for what's been going on because you said that specifically and it kept ringing in my mind. Like this is supposed to be that, but it hasn't been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it usually is for like an hour and 30 minutes.
Facts.
Yeah.
It's
During
not
that
that
time.
bad though, please. It's really not that bad.
Nah, it's cool, man. It's cool. This is what
It was a buildup, like coming in here every Sunday. We're here for 8 hours. We're texting each other nonstop. We're all constantly thinking about how to evolve the show. It can be a lot. So I
Yeah.
think maybe it took a toll, and hopefully now we know how to deal with that if it ever presents itself again.
It's looking good, guys.
I feel like on every good team, people are gonna bump heads.
100%.
It has to be that way.
And
Chefs in the kitchen, yo.
But
Jonte's been playing mediator, which I feel very guilty about. Very guilty about.
Everything happens for a reason. Jonte is here for a reason.
Because I need Jonte. That's why Jonte's
You need
here.
Jonte. Shit. All right. So yeah, and so
I have a question, Kyle.
okay. Uh-oh. I don't like the way she posed that.
Every time I want to ask you a question, you say that. What goal do you have in regards to this podcast?
I want to be the number one podcaster in the world.
Really?
Get Joe Budden out of here.
Really?
Nah, I'm just playing.
that's ambitious. I respect that though.
Yeah, honestly, I just want to reach the people that I'm supposed to reach. Like I wouldn't say I have like a monetary goal or a popularity goal. I've never wanted to be like popular. I don't care about that. I just want to be the best that I can possibly be at this. I'm not comparing myself to anybody or competing with anybody. I'm pretty much competing with myself. So, yeah. I just want to make people happy, make people laugh, give them good advice, open their minds, different perspectives. I want to change the world.
Aww, he wins Miss USA.
No, yeah,
one episode at a time.
Yeah,
one episode at a time.
Changing the world, one episode. I kind of like that.
We can coin that.
Yeah,
it's low-key fire.
Yeah, see, we need Jonte.
That's going in the bio.
Yo, especially with our new logo.
Calm down.
Boom.
Now we're getting ahead of ourselves.
My bad. All right, so yeah, that would be Mike. What would you say yours is?
With this podcast?
Yep.
With this podcast, I would like to my first goal, let me just say that. My first goal is I want to see this podcast bring in money. That's my goal.
Yeah, I do want to quit my job.
We wouldn't be here doing it for free, spending our own money if we didn't love it. Like that, we already know.
Right.
We all know, like, I like to hear myself talk.
Facts.
So I just want us to be able to monetize. And I've got tons of goals outside of this, but this is my baby. This is what we're focusing on first.
You see how we complete each other? That's good. We can't have two people like headstrong on the money. It's good that you have that and then I have this. And then Jonte's ambition is probably money on this. I'm not.
I feel like Marshawn Lynch right now.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yo, I'm dead.
Stop it.
Elaborate on that, Jonte.
Yeah.
How do you?
Don't say that.
Was a joke. That was a joke for sure. No, but I'm happy to be here. It's dope. It's fun. We have fun. Behind the scenes can get crazy sometimes, but that's part of the fun, though. I always like that part of the process.
When you make it out.
Must
when
be
you make
nice.
it out.
Man, even the call after the fact is so embarrassing. Everything about it is so embarrassing for me. I don't enjoy it.
It's all right.
Yeah, but we didn't say the word pressure, but I think that had a lot to do with it. Just in general, there's a lot of pressure. I don't think any of us could deny that.
No. We all want this to work. So yeah.
Yeah.
So getting back to like just the consistency aspect of us and what we've done, how do you feel like what's consistency mean to you? Jonte, let's start with Jonte this time.
Consistency.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more like I associate that with a certain level of like discipline.
Hmm.
Like, because in order to be consistent, you have to give something up, or you have to like be on a program.
Yeah.
Because life is gonna take you like in a lot of different directions at
Mhm.
different times. So it's like being disciplined and staying the course. Really,
Because I don't have discipline. I don't.
talk
I
about
know
it.
this is a flaw of mine.
You know,
Like,
a lot of people don't. I wouldn't say I do either. In certain things, I
yeah,
do.
because I feel like you do.
Certain things I do. There are things I
Actually, yeah,
don't.
you're right. Yeah, in certain things.
Jesus Christ.
But that's a hard one for me.
What's consistency to you?
Keep moving forward. The show must go on.
What about personally?
Consistency,
For
personally.
yourself, like, what do you do that you feel like you have to continue in order to get where you want to get to where you want to get to?
I need to continue to just go with my first instinct. So, like I've been spending time thinking and contemplating, and that's never been something I did. If something came to my mind, I just went for it. Or like if I'm trying to get an interview, I don't think twice about it. I feel like I've been pacing myself, and personally for me that doesn't work. For me to stay consistent in my career path, I just need to keep going with my gut. Cuz that's what's worked for me.
You gotta trust yourself.
Yeah. No second guessing, no doubting.
So how do you differentiate your gut and your emotion?
Oh, you guys like to decide that for me.
I mean, it's a hard thing for anybody to really separate.
Okay, it's also hard for me to fool myself. So I know where that's coming from.
Mhm.
It's not a gut feeling if I know I'm emotional about it.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah, how about you, Kyle? What's consistency for you?
Consistency for me is knowing. Well, so I guess this question would have to have been posed differently because consistency may be different for you, for yourself, and it may be different from what you expect from others.
Mm.
So, consistency for myself, honestly, changing regularly is consistency. Progressing, like improving on things, never being complacent, which is kind of ironic because consistency is supposed to be like almost repetitive,
Right.
but changing repetitively.
Is what
That's
keeps you
crazy.
consistent.
Yeah. Never staying in one spot, never staying the same every day. Like every day should be some type of progression. You should get better in some way every day. That's my view on consistency for me.
Sounds like evolving.
Yeah. Evolving consistently. That's dope. I like that actually. Yeah.
Funny.
So Jonte, what would you say in your life is important for you to be consistent with?
Like maintaining consistency.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you need?
I
Like what
probably
needs to be consistent for you?
the main thing that I'll probably have to rely on is like balance.
Hmm.
Like to just have balance between the different aspects of life, like work, like my alone time,
Hmm.
my study time, whatever it is I have to do. I have to balance everything because I can't go too far one way,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of makes everything else fall off
Lack,
after that.
right?
So that's big for me.
Wow.
Kyle, what are some difficulties you have maintaining consistency?
Fucking discipline. I mean, discipline is such a broad word, like, because if you don't consciously think about doing something every day, you're lacking discipline. If it's something that you want to change and you're not constantly thinking about it, you're lacking discipline because you're not disciplining yourself enough to focus on that specific task that you're trying to improve. So a lot of times, like for example, I mean, working out. I'll tell myself I'm gonna start this pandemic fucked up my whole workout regimen, man. It's crazy. But I tell myself I'm gonna work out, I'll do it for 2 weeks and then I'll fall off. So it's like just
Yeah, we don't
yeah.
like men that skip leg day.
Like day. Yeah. I mean, yeah, consistency, that's my biggest flaw with that is the discipline.
Hmm.
What's yours?
I think doubt.
Hmm.
I think doubt because even if I'm bugging out for a few hours, like just overthinking something, I'm fucking up already. Like, I think it's doubt.
How do you fix that?
I don't know.
Stop second guessing.
You just
Like what
believe in
you said?
myself. But I do believe in myself. Like, that's the thing. I don't lack any of those things either. It's just like lapses in time.
What would you think the world would be like? What do you think the world would be like if there was no consistency?
Chaos.
Complete chaos.
We rely everything we do as like a society revolves around everything being consistent and
Consistent.
predictable. Like our whole program, everything.
Hmm.
Imagine you sent something in the mail and you just have no idea if it would make it somewhere or not. Like, what?
Everything's a guessing game.
You don't know if that new iPad is coming in the mail or not?
You don't know if your check is coming or not?
Oh, hell no.
Sheesh.
Man.
So what's the difference between consistency and persistence? Is there a difference?
If you're being persistent, it's more of a chase. If you're consistent, it's more like a marathon or 𝗧𝗵𝗲.
So persistence
More
is
paced.
so basically persistence has an end goal. Consistency, I mean they both have end goals, but one
Consistency is
has
maybe
a
needed to
persistence
achieve
has
the
a
end
stop.
goal.
You can I don't know.
You think
That's
persistence
tough.
have to stop? I think persistence should never stop.
But once you achieve whatever you're pursuing, you see that, guys? Once you achieve whatever you're pursuing, you're no longer persistent at that. With consistency, you are consistently
At that
that
point,
for
consistency applies. Once you've reached something, then you keep it
then you
consistent.
get to the so the persistence is the first stage.
Unless you want to keep it up, then you have to
Then you
remain
gotta be
consistent after you get to that
with
point.
the persistence.
Yep.
Gems. All right.
Consistence with the persistent.
Is there ever a time where it's bad to be persistent?
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
When's the last time a guy was too persistent with you?
The thing is, if it got look, a lot of guys have hit me more than one time.
Physically?
What?
I'm just kidding.
Have hit me more than one time, but it's my fault. Like,
That they have to chase you like that?
yeah.
Do you enjoy that? Is there a piece of you that likes that?
With certain men, yes. Like I know who I have chasing me,
Mm-hmm.
and I know who I'm like dubbing. If that makes sense. Like if I might be dubbing you and you're still being consistent, but I might give you a little bit.
Just to keep you.
Yeah.
Wow. That's the evil side there, fellas.
It's not evil. It's not evil.
No, not you. I mean that. Just giving you enough so that you continue to be persistent just in case.
I'm not the only man. The thing is that's hard. I don't believe none of you. So you can hit me like every day, telling me whatever it is every day. I don't believe you. And that's my problem. Like that's how I know. See, I'm very persistent in what I want. Like I want something. And because I still believe I'll have that, I don't give anybody any opportunity, to gain access.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that's bad. That's a flaw because I could have dubbed my husband. He could be in the DM right now.
Floating in the graveyard,
Somewhere down at the bottom. Fucked up.
waiting to be accepted.
No, he's probably going to find another one. I'm going to just be asked out. That's the problem. But I believe in persistence in regards to business and everything else. But when it comes to personal life, we should figure out when enough is enough.
Jonte, how do you determine when persistence is too much? When you're being too persistent?
Are
you able to read the signs?
I think it's hard to say like in what situations you can be too persistent on, but if you're too persistent on something and it doesn't work out in your favor, it may be because like whatever that thing was is not meant for you.
Yes, it is.
Like you're on the wrong path. Like you're chasing something that's not meant for you in the first place.
So wait, Shiraz, everything that you want, you're meant to have?
Yes. Yes. In this shitty ass life where we all deal with more pain than happiness, I think I deserve to have what I want, at the least. Yes.
There was so much to unpack right there in that sentence you
But
just
because
said.
this is why. This life sucks.
So
you're telling me I can't tell you?
Shiraz.
I know that we're getting off track.
It's a little dark.
But like, who are we to tell people we can't chase what we want, or who are we to tell anyone enough is enough?
Well, some things aren't meant. Everything isn't meant for you.
Okay. Well, we'll find out by the time I'm done being persistent.
Or maybe
Who's
like
meant for who?
maybe what you want is not necessarily good for you.
That's yeah. How you feel about that?
You're not gonna change my mind. I'm very persistent.
It's okay to be persistent, but is there a time where you realize you may be just
beating a dead horse?
Yep.
I've thought that many times. I don't have the answers for this one. Like, I'm telling you, this is what I know is a problem. It's hard. Because then hope comes into it. Like, persistence has a lot to do with, like, hope.
Faith.
And faith. And I think hope is a bitch. Hope is, like, the worst thing in this world. It's the biggest letdown. I'm so serious.
It's like the gift and the curse.
It's a double-edged sword.
Hope can keep you going. It can keep you striving, but it can also keep you believing in something that's just not realistic at all.
Waste your time.
Unrealistic goals. Damn. What's the last thing you guys felt like you were chasing something that was unrealistic?
You go first. Let me marinate. For
me, I would say becoming an NBA basketball player at 5'10".
Now elaborate.
That was, I used to hoop, and it sucked because I got really good at like 22. 23 is when I something clicked in my brain and I all of a sudden was just able to shoot just like easy. So but it wasn't
double digits
in my sleep. But look, before when I was in high school, I don't know. It hadn't clicked yet. I don't know what it was. It was crazy. But I was good, but I wasn't like how I am now. So realizing that I had to I was spending a lot of time chasing that dream. I was lacking on what I was actually supposed to be doing. So you guys don't know, but I have like a weird ass sweating allergy. So that just happened out of nowhere. And it pushed me into a different scene where I flourished much more than I did with basketball. So sometimes when you don't realize you're, I guess, going after the wrong thing, the world, the universe, God, whatever it is you believe in will kind of propel you and redirect you into the direction you're actually supposed to be going. So,
okay, what if I'm not being rerouted though?
Yeah, if you're not being rerouted, then you gotta
I believe it.
You gotta do some self-reflection.
Wait, what?
After a certain amount of time and you're not reaching goals that you've set for yourself, you may need to self-reflect on whether or not, that's what you're supposed to be doing. And that goes with people too. Like chasing relationships. As far as but a lot of people have to realize just because someone isn't maybe in your life the way you want them to be in your life, that doesn't mean that it's wrong. So like let's say you're there's someone in your life that you want to be your friend, or you want to be in a relationship with them. It's not wrong to be consistently, forgiving them or moving past things or conversing with things, because I know a lot of times we're so quick to cut people out of our lives if they don't fulfill what we think they're supposed to fulfill. So it just takes a lot of just reflection to understand that just because it's what you want, even if you get a piece of that, it's okay. Like it's not a bad thing to be consistently like pushing for that instead of what, the full. You can buy half of the candy bar and still be happy, and
Nope.
you just
I'm like a believer in like getting out. There is nothing in my life except one thing that I wanted that I haven't had. Like I believe deeply in manifestation.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna manifest it. Do I manifested everything else?
I mean, touche.
Magic.
Touche.
Magic is real.
So manifesting your husband, Shiraz. So, and when it comes to consistency, do you feel like that's necessary in order to court a woman? And when do you feel like it's like too much? Because a lot of niggas don't, you have those situations where girls will screenshot the guy that's been DMing them for weeks with no response, but and they'll get no play, but they'll do that with another girl and they'll be successful. So
Yeah.
how do guys know how do we know how to read hints? Because that's
I was just gonna say that's how you know is you read hints. If you're hitting me consistently and I'm writing you back, you do have a chance. So stay the course, young man.
even if you leave me on red once or twice.
Yeah, 'cause I'm busy. I do that often without meaning to do it, or like to men that I think are hot, and I'll hit them up days later and be like, "Hi," and it'll be okay. People have lives. But there are some guys that you never reply to, some guys that like to be very persistent, and sometimes they don't use like the nicest language.
So have you ever
Those don't
ignored
know how to catch hints.
have you ever ignored someone that you wanted to be consistent and regretted it?
Yeah, I was supposed to be on a date last night.
And he's consistent?
Yeah. Like for 3 years, this man has been courting me.
3 years. Jonte, would you ever court somebody for 3 years?
No, I'm definitely not that
What?
type of person.
What?
Well,
3 years is a
define
long-ass time.
court.
I mean, it's not like he's committed. Like, I'm sure he's lived his life the same way I have, but yeah, if there's a girl that you feel,
like
you
court,
wouldn't take your time?
court meaning like pursue and take out on dates and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
For 3 years? God
Mm.
damn.
Nah, I don't have that type of.
Nah.
I think my ego is probably a little bit.
Yeah,
too
but
big for
I'm
that.
giving him. I'm interested. Like he's not getting nothing from me. It's
3
just
years. 3
we
years is a long
haven't-
time for consistency.
we haven't. Yeah, I haven't let him get near me yet. Like in a while. I don't know. But it says something though. It says something for sure.
Jonte, how do you know when to stop being persistent and trying to?
For me, I'll just say like I use my intuition. Like I be going off of what feels right and what doesn't feel right. Like if it feels right, like I'm on to something, then I'm gonna stick to it
Mm.
until I get to where I need to go. But if it feels like I'm not going anywhere, or if it feels like
So waste of your time.
yeah, like I'm wasting my time, or it's especially when you're dealing with people, like
Have you
people
ever
are,
been so persistent and you regretted it to where you went to your DMs and unsent messages?
Are you talking about with women? Nah, nah, nah.
You never
I
hit that
never.
unsend button,
Nah. I could take a hint.
but you'll leave it there.
I'll leave it there. I don't care.
See? And that's what I'm saying. The guy that's the guy that I'm talking about specifically, like, I've given him play. He's not doing it for nothing or for no reason or just on his own.
I'm glad because 3 years, Jesus. Holding your hand for 3 years?
Hey, baby. Poor guy. I might hit him after this. I feel bad.
Jeez. Wow. Wow. He gonna watch this and be like, where was my text?
Damn.
Dumb. All right.
How about you? Have you ever been persistent in courting a woman? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I've had to be persistent. I mean, honestly, I think those are the best situations where guys have to work for what it is that they want. Otherwise, we won't appreciate it. If it comes too easily, we'll throw it away after we're done with it. Unfortunately, as far as like persistence and like goals, yeah, fuck yeah, I have been. But when it's unfortunate because persistence isn't always appreciated the way it should be, and it can be misconstrued.
Preach. You're talking to the choir. Preach.
All right. And it can be misconstrued, especially if you don't portray it in the right way. Your persistence can be confused as something else, as other things. So it's important to articulate your intent and to follow through with your intent and your execution to make sure that it's being received properly. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm spitting gems like today. They're just coming out naturally. I'll just say it.
You think so?
Low key, yeah. You wanted to talk about
Goals?
yeah,
Yeah. Goals.
overall goals, not podcast goals.
What would you do? What are the lengths that we would go to achieve our goals?
See, that's a hard question too because it goes back to what are you willing to do to achieve something that maybe wasn't for you? If you are willing to do things that are outside of you and that jeopardize your own, your inner self just to achieve something that you've set out, I don't think it's worth it cuz then you can fall into an abyss and you end up just living outside of your purpose for the rest of your life. And that's
But let's not talk about. We're not talking about things that are not meant for us. We're talking about things that are meant for us. Like,
what would I do to make sure that this podcast is as successful as it can be, basically?
oh yeah, tell me. What would you do for the pod?
Go through hell and high water.
Have you experienced any of these things already?
100%. Hell and high water, both of them at the same time.
You mean it's a pleasure to work with me?
I'm dead.
I mean, to achieve our goals, my goals, it's going to take sacrifice. If there's one thing that this podcast has taught me, it's fucking sacrifice. Like anything I tell you to do, you got to do it. Anything that got to be dropped, it got to be dropped. But like, we all make sacrifices in our own way. Like, there's a lot of politics that come with this. That's a sacrifice I make. You got to deal with my attitude. That's a sacrifice you got to make.
Yeah.
The money this is taking out of our pocket, that's a sacrifice we all got to make.
The time being here, we have meetings, we have conversations daily. Yeah. I mean,
So, for
nothing
sure
comes
to
without
achieve.
nothing worthwhile comes without sacrifice.
Dedication. Next comes dedication. Like, how bad do you really want it? What are you willing to sacrifice for this? You know, your friend said a line from Nipsey Hussle. It's how long can you stay dedicated? In a paragraph of things. But his point in saying that was you're going to be as dedicated as ever if you're chasing something that's meant for you and that is for you. Like the level of dedication should never drop. Ever. How long can you stay dedicated? I'm dedicated till we get a check from this shit. I'm dedicated till this shit pops.
Like and subscribe.
And beyond that.
How important is it for you to work doing? How important is it for you to be doing something that you love?
Oh, very important. I'm be quick on and off this because it's a little sad. But when I was doing a job that I wasn't enjoying, working a 9 to 5, and at the same time I was interning for Dame, so I have Dame in my ear telling me, "No, you shouldn't work for no one. No one's your boss. Blah blah blah. Be your own boss." Then I'm going to a 9 to 5 where I have a guy who's checking how long I'm on a fucking cigarette break. It was blowing my mind. Like I couldn't deal. So we should never do anything we don't want to do. That shit is crazy. It's not a sacrifice we should make. Uh, we shouldn't dedicate any time or anything like that. So I had to get out of there quick. Actually, Corona got me out of there. Thank God.
See, everything
And then
happens
here
for
we
a
are.
reason.
Yeah. But I couldn't do that. Even when Corona's going to be over soon.
Mm,
It is. California's going to open up, right?
they've already started, but they can't get the vaccines out
And
quick
then we're
enough.
going to have to go back. I'm going to have to go back to getting a regular. God, I hope I don't. But I might have to get a 9 to 5. I will shoot myself in the head.
That's gonna be rough.
I was thinking about that 2 nights ago. Like, I'm so scared. It's an unhappy life. So you got to do what you love, or
Well-
else it will be an unhappy life.
What would you say some of your roadblocks are in just maintaining consistency and persistence? You say yours is doubt. You have any others?
Just my mouthpiece.
Get you in
It
and,
gets
and
me-
out of trouble.
Yeah.
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 What about you, Jonte?
Roadblocks. I feel like for me, there's always a roadblock. Like I almost expect it. I anticipate it at some point.
Right.
Like no matter what I try to do, it's like once I get to the last step, it's like that's the hardest step every time. So I kind of expect it. I expect roadblocks. I prepare for it.
Yes, it's good to mentally prepare for it, although you can't always prepare because you don't know what the roadblock's going to be. But to just remind yourself something's probably going to happen soon.
What roadblocks have we had to deal with in regards to this podcast?
Communication. Which is funny because we're on a fucking podcast.
Ironically.
Yeah. But yeah, communication for sure. I think that would be the biggest. Communication and timing. Timing. We've had some things set up for you guys that unfortunately didn't come through because of timing. I mean, some things came through though at the same time. So
Yeah. I was going to say that's been our roadblocks. We've had some very cool people planned.
to be here.
Yeah, but things don't always go as planned. And sometimes they're happening last minute. Yeah.
Everything
But
happens for a
we
reason.
pull through every time. Like 𝗧𝗵𝗲 Veggies, I'll just say this. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 Veggies ended up coming earlier than he was supposed to
Hmm.
that day. And we kind of just adjusted and moved forward. So I guess with roadblocks comes adjusting and adapting, which we've done very well, I think. No?
No,
Did
I
make
agree.
that oh.
No, I ran out of
What? Oh.
yeah.
Any personal roadblocks?
Besides a pandemic
Mm.
and lack of discipline, no. Discipline literally covers everything.
Yeah, it applies to a lot.
It applies to everything. Because I mean, I mean, obviously in life there are things you can control and things you can't. That's it. So discipline gives you the power to control the things that you can control. So you can't complain about anything else. So if anything else if you're not doing what you want to do, it's probably because you haven't disciplined yourself enough to either figure out what it is you should be doing or execute what it is you should be doing. There's no other excuse to not be doing what you want to do.
What do you mean?
Because you can discipline your fear. You can because if you're not doing what you want to do, to me, you're you're either afraid of doing what you want to do,
Or
you're lazy.
they're forced. Their hand is forced. Some people have to work a 9 to 5. Some people don't have the option to pursue a dream.
But again, even still, like even if you were forced to, what situations would you say you'd be forced to work a 9 to 5 and not pursue your dreams?
It happens
For
every
example,
day.
For example, like what?
For example, I have a 1-year-old kid,
Okay.
and I cannot dedicate my time to a podcast. I wouldn't be doing a podcast if I had a kid.
So guess what? Not saying that you're not disciplined while you have the 1-year-old kid, but why do you have the 1-year-old kid and you aren't ready? Because you weren't disciplined to not do what you needed to do
John,
to not have the 1-year-old kid. You've put yourself in a situation to where you can't do what you do because of your lack of discipline in other areas. Did you choose to have that 1-year-old kid? You know what happens with sex. You know the consequences of having unprotected sex. I mean, if you protected yourself and you still, I mean, that's different. That's different. However, if you had a kid, you can't blame that scenario. You have to take accountability and understand, yo,
and there
I
are
did
people
this
with kids that are pursuing their dreams, but I'm just saying, like,
100%.
people got to make money. Everyone doesn't have options.
But so the difference so when I say you're not doing what you want to do, I mean you're stuck working this 9 to 5, knowing you want to be doing something else. Not you're working this 9 to 5 to help provide for what you want to do, and you're
That sounds
working
like
towards that. Those are different.
Sacrifice, like a sacrifice.
It is
for me to
sacrifice.
do
Yeah,
that.
it is sacrifice. But in a lot of scenarios, the reason you're in the situation to where you have to sacrifice is because you lack discipline in another scenario.
I would have to agree with that. It's like if you lack discipline, you become or you create your own roadblock situation.
Exactly.
And then at the end of it, it's like you can't really blame anybody or anything but yourself and the choices that you made that got in your own way.
Your choices are everything. Your choices determine where your life goes every day. So if you don't have the discipline to make the right decisions, you have to deal with the consequences, and that narrows down your opportunities.
What are some of your short-term goals?
Um,
Or a short-term goal, Jonte?
My short-term goals usually consist of like putting a certain amount of hours into something. Like I usually set it up by like week. Like, okay, this week I have to complete this amount of work, or this week I have to put this many hours into whatever it may be. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's where I spend a lot of my short-term goal energy, for sure. Just like scheduling and
On a weekly basis too.
Right.
Yeah, I've been trying to get better at that. It's easy to tell yourself you don't have enough time to do something.
I never
But when
tell
you really
myself
break
that.
down what you do with your time,
You make time for what
realize-
you want to make time
yeah,
for.
you realize you waste a lot of time too. If you don't know what I mean, just open your Instagram and click on your analytics and look at how many hours you spend on that a day. Whatever it is that you did not do that day that you feel like you wish you had done.
Yeah, that could have been an hour spent towards working out.
Hour minimum, exactly.
An hour towards reading, an hour towards working on your craft.
Exactly. Which comes down to discipline.
Yeah. Discipline ain't gonna get us 500 views the day we drop. That's my short-term goal. Why you draw on the floor?
Why'd you disrespect discipline like that in order to get your bar off?
But you heard me?
Yeah, but why'd you?
All right, so how are we gonna get there?
We have well over 500 views, by the way, guys.
Yes, but not the first day we drop. I dropped the podcast Tuesday morning. I need 500 views. That's my short-term goal.
All right, we'll post a nude with it.
Yay! You hear that? You see that? That's a sacrifice I gotta make.
You gotta discipline yourself.
Life hack.
No, but that's a short-term goal of mine.
I'm with it.
Yeah, you can't just say that. See, now
I'm
we have a goal.
manifesting.
Oh,
Hell.
you still need to work. It still takes work.
Manifestation, boy.
Stop.
Whoa.
Yeah, you fucked it up.
Manifestation without works is. Wait, what's the saying?
That gotta
A
be
dream without
insanity.
works is just a dream or
I
a
don't know.
wish or something.
Yeah, I think a wish.
Something
Right.
like that.
A wish, they said?
A wish without work
like
is
a dream without works.
Is a wish.
Yeah, it's pretty much just wishful thinking at that point. You got to do something. You got to go towards whatever that dream is.
Do you have any personal short-term goals or any for the podcast?
personal short-term goals. I would love to grow 3 inches.
Where? Where?
Everywhere
Biceps.
else, I'm good. Height-wise, I would love to grow 3 inches. And then I can pursue my dreams of going to the NBA again.
My mistake. Got you. Good luck with that. Drink your milk.
I am. I'm stretching. I do my calisthenics daily.
3 inches coming soon.
That's the name.
3 inches coming soon.
3 inches coming soon. Yo, no girl ever wants to hear that.
Yeah, agreed. Okay.
Yo, might as well be persistent with these 3
inches. Hell no. No, you gotta.
That'll get us off topic. All right. But yeah, what are Jante?
He said what he does with short-term
Oh,
goals.
yeah,
How
that's
about
right.
long-term goals? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I hate that question.
Why?
When people ask me that on the job interviews, I literally tell them honestly,
Do you know that's something
I don't know.
Dame says all the time?
He asks niggas what
Dame
their
says-
what their 10-year plan is.
Dame says, what do you want? You say what you want. What does that look like? And then you create it. How do you know what you're looking for, what you're chasing, if you don't know what that looks like for you? How do you know when you're there?
Well, I mean, I get it. That's constantly changing, right?
Your
Especially
goals constantly
once you
change?
achieve that, once you achieve a goal,
Yeah, then
there's
you
a new
plan the next
goal.
one. Yeah, but no, it's not constantly changing. A long-term goal? No, short-term goals can change on a weekly basis, like Jante.
I
long-term
feel
goal?
like your long-term goals can change too, though, because we don't always like set goals that make sense at the time.
Right. And I mean, being aware takes a lot of self-awareness in order to determine what your long-term goals are, to me. Like, I 100% understand why people ask that question. And it's great to plan, but I'm not the best planner. I have rules that I go by. I have things I have a very set of morals that I go by, and I know what it takes to get to certain places, and I know what I'm willing to do in order to get there. So where that takes me, I don't know. But I don't have like a
But you know
set.
how you're going to get there.
I know what I need to do in order to make sure that I'm putting myself in the right position to get what I want. But I don't have like a set idea of what that is or where that is. I'm kind of a hippie.
Go with the wind kind of guy.
Kinda. Just because I just don't. I mean, I think a lot, but I don't
Overthink.
I don't overthink and I don't question. So I do what makes sense to me in my head and in my heart, and I trust that in doing those things I'll get to where I'm supposed to be. Like do you believe in deja vu? Do you know?
Yeah.
So
That's how I
think
know I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to
I
be
think
doing.
deja vu lets you know that you are where you were supposed to be in that moment. So, it's interesting. I haven't had deja vu in a while.
That sucks for you.
It does.
I have deja vu often, actually. When we were toasting on New Year's,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I haven't had it because of COVID, honestly. I think that's a side effect. You lose your deja vu.
Maybe you're drinking too much wine at night and you're
Why
not
do you This
dreaming.
is the second episode that you've said that. I'm not. Our listeners are gonna think that I'm a fucking wino. Jesus.
No, but that does affect it because I'm pretty sure I don't have dreams often because I smoke weed before bed. That's a thing.
That usually makes me dream when I smoke.
When I don't smoke, though, I do dream.
Hmm.
And that's very rare. But yeah, like it clouds your mind.
What would you say motivates you to keep maintaining your consistency and persistence and things like that?
All my shitty days.
Elaborate, please.
That shit is a motivation. If you don't want this shitty day to occur again, you gotta do what it takes to change that situation and move forward.
And you've applied that to this, huh?
Yeah. That's actually exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want any more unhappy days with the pod.
1, 2, 3, 4 happy days. 4, 5, 6, happy days. 5, 6, 7, happy days.
You're singing something that's like beyond me again. I don't know what you're talking about. How old am I?
You never seen the show Happy Days?
I'm 27 years old.
I'm 31 years old. You say it
So
like I'm
act
your
like it.
elder.
Act like it then, because you acting like my elder.
You never watched
Grandpa?
Happy Days? Jonte, you never saw Happy Days?
I seen Happy Days.
Calm down, Grandpa.
Because she's foreign.
Whoa.
She's ESL too.
No, I was not. I was in honors and I was in gate magnet school, so don't fucking play me.
Yo, English is a second language. It's okay. You got it down. Can't even tell.
Relax.
I'm just kidding.
Can't even tell. Yo, that's not true.
I'm just kidding.
Arabic was my second language.
Do you speak Farsi too or no?
Farsi is just a different dialect.
Yeah. Do you speak it or no?
No, it's like an accent.
Got you.
So like they might understand me, I might understand them, but it's like an accent on the words we put that's different.
Got you. Okay.
Tell your girl I said hi.
What girl?
Just kidding.
Nut. All right.
But goal setting, is that where we're gonna close this? Motivating our listeners and ourselves.
Yeah, how do you set your goals?
I was low last week.
Yeah, how do you set your goals? Jonte, how do you set your goals?
I set my long-term goals and my short-term goals. I use a different mindset for both.
Huh?
Like the short term is a lot more defined, I would say. It's a lot more well thought out. It's a lot more like organized.
The long term goals might be more vague. Huh?
Yeah, more vague. More like being open to understanding that like however I get there might not be the way that I thought I was gonna take to get there. Like it might be some detours. I might have to go a different way.
I don't like detours at all.
Do you like tours to the D?
Yo, it's 2 cameras in my face.
How do you set your goals, Shiraz? Young Raslin.
I think, see, I almost want to say same as Jonte, but like I do know how I'm going to get to those. I do have a mental plan, how I'm going to get to my long-term goals. Short-term goals are usually things that I know I can achieve like I know if I wanted to do it today, I could do it. So that's like a short-term goal. Long-term goal is how do we get to 500 listeners per dropped episode on that day?
And what do you do when you don't achieve those goals? How do you tweak?
not achieve my goals.
How do you tweak them? There is a time where
If I don't achieve my goals, then they roll over to the next year. Last year, I had 7 goals. Starting this podcast was one of them, and then other things. The last 2 that I didn't do was interviewing Ab-Soul and Lil Wayne. Those things are on my goals for this year.
So how do you change it to where you don't?
I'm gonna bother myself until I do it.
So how do you change it until you don't have to keep rolling it over? What do you do to make sure you accomplish those goals when they aren't accomplished when you had set them?
Okay, in regards to the podcast,
Period. Just what mindset do you
You got to continuously be you have to every day when it comes to goals. If every day you're not moving one step closer, you're not doing something that's in that vein, you're wasting your time and you're moving farther from it. Like every day, as long as I'm trying, I'm putting the work in. I know, like without a doubt, because of manifestation, I'm gonna touch it.
Mhm.
It's gonna happen.
Makes sense to me.
I do magic. Do you do magic?
David Bleezy.
David, yo, that's funny. David Reezy, come on.
Well,
Reezy.
it's Blaine,
Okay, so I
so
fucked up. Yeah,
Bleezy.
you're right. How about you, sir? It's windy.
My goals. I would say I don't know. I'm not good at setting goals, actually, to be honest.
I know you say you don't know where you're gonna be in 10 years, so that kind of made it obvious.
Well, that's a long-term goal, but no, even short-term goals. I think that I literally like sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I need to change this. And if I'm serious about it, I'll change it. I'll do it. I'll think about it daily because it's something. Basically, if I have to get to a point to where, let's just say we're talking about goals as far as your certain circumstance in life.
Okay.
If once I get to the point where I'm tired of what I'm doing, I'm gonna change it. If I'm tired of the results, if I'm tired of, what I'm looking at every day, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna do what needs to be done to change it. I don't really take much time to think about it. It's just a light switch happens. Like when I felt like I was on Instagram too much, I didn't think about it. I just deleted my shit. Like I just nip it in the bud as soon as it comes to my brain. Like I no longer want this interaction. Same. I do the same thing with people. Um, Once it's run its course, I'm done with it. I just cut it out. As far as achieving something, if I want to do it, I'm gonna do what needs to be done to do it. Like I know what it takes. I don't necessarily set a goal. It's just like I want that. I'm gonna go get that.
See, that's why me and you, we do butt heads. Because I need a time and a place and a date, and like I need it to be spelled out. For you, it could just all be up in the air as long as it all happens one day.
Yeah, because I don't worry about it. Because I know.
No, I need to know.
No, I know. And honestly, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's good to have two sides in some scenarios, especially when you have a great mediator in Jonte. But
Johnson needs to get paid more.
it's good to have that balance. Like he said, it's good to have a difference in opinion. We're on a podcast. If we thought the same, we wouldn't be here. This wouldn't work. So yeah, I'm more up in the air. I'm more so like, yo, if it's for me, it's gonna happen. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to make it happen. So it'll happen. And if it doesn't, then it wasn't for me. I don't stress. And that's probably another reason why we butt heads. Because my lack of
Sense of urgency.
yeah,
It drives me nuts.
my lack of sense of urgency is it can come off as if I'm
Nonchalant?
unmotivated or nonchalant, or as my JV basketball coach used to put it, lackadaisical. So
I don't like that shit.
yeah, he used to say it in practice, like nigga,
No, I don't like
don't say 4-syllable words while we're at
moving.
practice.
Lackadaisical.
Lackadaisical, 5-syllable words, even worse. Jesus, but yeah, no, I'm not. But that's again though, it's very important to know who you're dealing with though, because especially even having this episode, I think is gonna help things because it'll help you understand how I am as a person.
Kyle, I've known you for 7 years, dude. I'm not used to it yet.
Yeah, but at some point, a light switch is gonna click off in your brain the same way it does with mine. Like I'm not gonna change. So if it's gonna work, we have to accept who we are and appreciate who we are. We don't have to agree, but understanding and
No, I know there's
acceptance
power
is-
in, like for you, that's a lot of faith. To
Yeah, it's
move
a
that
lot of
way,
faith.
it takes a lot of faith. I don't have faith. I don't. If I'm not doing it my damn self, I don't have faith in it. So that's why for me, I need to always be doing something, setting goals and achieving them this way. It's concrete. I know.
I get that.
But that's
For
how,
me,
that's how I move.
for me, there's no good and there's no bad. I'm sorry, there's no bad for me. I think everything that happens was supposed to happen. Like your perception of what is negative is based off of just your perception. what happened to you could be a good thing to somebody else. Like if it happened bad to you, it could be a good thing for somebody else. So it just depends on how you look at it. And I try to make sure that I don't focus on the negative aspect of things and things that happen. I just focus on the positive. So I'm not worried about anything that happens because whatever happens to me is what it was supposed to be.
And I don't like when you say that either. But yeah, I understand. That's why I think things have worked out for you, and that's why I think things have worked out for me. Like,
yeah, in different ways.
I don't think either one is wrong. If that, like, I'm not saying that, but it's very different from the way I move, like a drill sergeant.
Hut. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So, guys, make sure that whatever's keeping you up at night, that's what you need to be doing. Whatever's keeping you up at night, that's what
Facts.
you need to resolve.
Facts.
Whatever has you crawling out of your skin, figure out what it's going to take and make those sacrifices. It's better now than you wait 10 years and you're still disgusted with yourself crawling out of your skin. You haven't done what you feel your purpose is. I read The Alchemist many years ago, thanks to a great friend. And since then, I have not been able to deny myself any type of. There's a word. Intuition is not the word. But if something is telling me to go one way, I'm following it because something is calling me. So make sure we're doing what needs to be done to fulfill our purpose.
I think
and our
conviction
callings.
is the word.
Conviction.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of conviction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And read The Alchemist if you have not, because that shit is real life and we do magic. And we're all here for a reason, and whatever it is, it's been written before our time. So that gut feeling is no lie.
Got everything. I got everything. I cannot complain. I cannot
complain. What
no
did you
lie,
say?
no lie.
Hear me out. We out.